and welcome to Value Chain TV News Update. I am S.A. Ufoma with the news. And on the news update, few hours after what appears to be outrage amongst Nigerians in respect to allegations that the federal government had a delegation size of 1,411 to the Conference of Parties in Dubai, UAE, the federal government has said that it didn't sponsor all the delegates. In a statement issued by the President's Senior Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Temitope Ajayi, President Bola Tinubu said only a handful of 1,411 Nigerian delegates who registered to attend the COP28 Climate Summit were sponsored by the federal government. Chet Moses completes the report.
The presidency explained that a bulk of the contingent comprised private sector players, such as businessmen, civil society organizations, and delegates from Nigeria's oil-producing Niger Delta region. It also argued that the delegates were at the summit to promote their respective causes and not for luxury. In the statement, Ajayi further explained that when the world comes together to take action on achieving a common goal and prefer collective solutions to a nagging global concern, there are parties involved from government, private sector, civil society, media and multilateral institutions. For Value Chain TV, Chat Moses reporting.
President Bola Tinubu has launched an initiative to deploy 100 electric buses in the country as part of the administration's effort towards a greener and eco-friendly economy in the transportation sector. The president made this disclosure at a high-level meeting with stakeholders and investors on the Nigeria Carbon Market and Electric Buses Rollout Program on the sideline of the COP28 Climate Summit in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. President Tinubu said that the strategic initiative aims to reduce Nigerians' carbon footprint and revamp its transportation systems. In their separate reactions to this development, some Nigerians who spoke to Value Chain TV said the federal government must ensure the technical know-how to guarantee sustainability of the project. The report.
To me, it's a nice idea, but my advice is let us get to the basis. Because if you have these buses around, you need to also look at the sustainability. If you bring in electric buses, you have to look at the technical know-how. You have to look at, the plants. Having an electric power plant in the country is very, very essential to the sustainability of that buses.
It's very funny to hear federal government making such promises. We've had a lot of promises from them. I believe if any reasonable government wants to do anything, it's just better you implement it. When the people see it, they will believe. You don't tell people you do this. How many of their promises since we got our independence have federal government fulfilled? If you are used to that Kuba Expressway, you see where they park these Abuja buses. The ones they brought, I think during Jonathan, when they started removing the subsidy gradually, those buses are there to date. The staff of the companies are being paid. The buses are getting rusted every day. So it's just a waste of funds.
It's a good idea. First of all, it's a good idea, but we need to ask ourselves a question: are we really ready for it? Because I could still remember during Abuja, when Nasir El-Rufai was FCT minister, he actually brought some buses. Where are they today? So we really need. I think the problem Nigeria have is maintenance. We have to maintain our things. It's not all about bringing it. Of course, this government can actually come, bring up this good idea before another government comes. But without proper management, I don't think that things are going to be smooth.
Minister of State for Petroleum Resources Oil, Henikin Lopobri, has decried the nation's continued dependence on importation of petroleum products, despite the awards of over 57 refinery licenses in the last 18 years and an additional 5 recently. Lopobri, who said this in an interview with newsmen in Abuja, noted that the federal government is considering issuing oil field licenses to refinery owners to tackle the challenges of crude oil feedstocks to refineries. Chet Moses completes the report.
18 years ago, under former President Olusegun Obasanjo's regime, private investors applied for refinery licenses, and additional number of applicants were recorded during former President Muhammad Buhari's regime. Altogether, numbering about 62, the expanded licensing was to push the country's refining capacity to over 2.3 million barrels per day, about 1 million barrels higher than the country's total crude oil daily production. Going by the licenses, the current refining capacity includes Dangote Refinery, with 650,000 barrels per day capacity, Bua Refinery, with 2,000 barrels per day capacity, NNPCL has a combined capacity of 445,000 barrels per day capacity, OPAC Refinery, the Walter Smith Refinery, the Aradale Refinery, and the Edo Refinery, which are already in operation, have a combined capacity of 27,000 barrels per day. This brings the refineries that are either in operation or close to starting production to about 1.322 million barrels per day. The other refinery licenses, mainly modular refineries with unknown status, have close to 1 million barrels per day capacity. Lokpobiri hinted that the government is considering revocation, where awardees have no financial and technical capacity to justify the conditions for the licenses in their possession. Although the global petroleum products market appears to be shifting to Africa, especially Nigeria, as refineries begin to shut down in Europe, stakeholders are of the opinion that many of the people who currently hold licenses do not have the intention to refine crude oil. For Value Chain TV, Chat Moses reporting.
We'll be going on a quick break now. You're still watching Value Chain TV updates. Do stay with us.
Dear colleagues and industry partners, on behalf of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I would like to invite you all to join us for the 7th edition of the Nigerian International Energy Summit 2024, Nigeria's premier and official oil and gas meeting due to take place in Abuja from February 26th to March 1st, 2024.
NIES remains the only official industry trade event of the federal government with the approval of the Federal Executive Council. Being the first edition to be held under the current administration, the importance of NIES 2024 becomes even the more significant.
The theme of the summit for this year's event is navigating the new energy world order, security, transition, and finance. It aims to match Africa's attractiveness to the right investment partnership while ensuring greater participation and engagement of indigenous businesses in the sector. Within the challenges of climate change and energy transition lie opportunities for a future where Nigeria's hydrocarbon resources play a central role in powering our nation, the African region, and the world at large, while at the same time safeguarding our environment.
His Excellency Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, will be the special guest of honor. As tradition, NIES 2024 will feature the highest level of attendance by top decision makers, industry leaders, and all stakeholders from both the public and private sectors from across Africa and the global energy community.
We'll be there to personally welcome you to the 7th edition of the Nigeria International Energy Summit 2024. Further details on the event will be obtained from its website. Thank you and welcome to the Nigeria International Energy Summit 2024.
Welcome back to Value Chain TV News Update. And on the update, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA, has said that over $575 billion capital investment opportunities could be created for Nigeria through its Industry Sustainability Initiative. The authority's Executive Director for Health, Safety, Environment and Community, Mustafa Lamode, hinted that the investment opportunities will be created through decarbonization of operations, infrastructure and technological development, green economy improvement, stakeholder management and human capital development. Lamode spoke on the sideline of the United Nations Climate Change Conference of Parties 2023, COP28 in Dubai, where the authority hosted a panel session on Nigeria's pathway to energy sustainability and the role of NMDPRA. The Federal Inland Revenue Services, FIRS, has announced a full waiver on accumulated penalties and interest for outstanding tax liabilities until December 31st, 2023. Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Services, Zach Adedeji, in a statement issued by his Special Advisor on Media, Dare Afekambi, stated that the decision was to alleviate the burden on taxpayers and businesses and also to promote compliance with tax laws. The chairman said penalties and interest are imposed for failures by companies to fulfill their tax obligation as a when due, as stipulated in the extant tax laws. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has called on the Senate President Godswill Akpabio to reject the plan by FCT Minister Nyesom Wike to spend 15 billion naira for renovation of the Vice President's residence. SERAP, in a statement signed by Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadare, urged the Senate President to assert Senate authority and constitutional oversight roles to reject the 2.8 billion naira on publicity for the FCTA and other proposed wasteful and unnecessary spending that may be contained in the 2023 supplementary budget and the 2024 budgets proposed by President Bola Tinubu. A cross-section of Nigerians who spoke to Value Chain TV frowned at the idea of what some of them agreed to be a wasteful spending. Others said government should do a necessary and thorough follow-up on the project to ensure the accountability.
If you look at this nation now, if you look at how people are living, if you look at the plight of the people, the common man, 15 billion naira on a residence. If you see my opinion, I will tell you the money is too much. Yes, it's too much. That is not to say that if the vice president's residence is dilapidated, that cannot be repaired. But to cover 15 billion is not a small money. It can go a long way to address issues in the economy of this nation. Yes. So, you see, while we are trying to build the economy, while we are trying to alleviate the suffering of the people, a lot of sacrifices has to be made. And that must come from the top.
At this point in our Nigerian economy, I think it's not even something we should consider. Given to the fact that there's fuel subsidy, there's inflation in dollar and the rest, I think the money is too I don't know what terms I should use in explaining it, but it's too wild to be thinking of the vice president's house rather than focusing on substantial vices for our economy at this point in time.
It's very crazy. 15 billion. It's not 15 naira or 15,000 or 1,500. Do you understand that kind of thing? And you're using 15 billion. Who does that in this economy? Fuel 650 and no salary. And no, please, they should just change their mind because it's not going to work. Me, I'm not going to support it. That's just it. I don't know about other youths, but you see, this 15 billion is a foul, is a no and no for us. The advice I'm going to give to government: we need to look out for people that anytime we execute projects, give them projects, they are ready to execute it and finish it to the end. I'm not saying that when you are giving a project, in this our country, some people, when they give them projects, that's the avenue for them to make money, but which is not supposed to be so. People that voted you in that place, they needed you to go and represent them, so you have to represent them. Even if you are eating something, at least let the poor masses live as well.
And that's it on Value Chain TV News Update. I am S.A. Ufoma. Thanks for watching.